Hey guys, it's Victoria, and we're starting off another podcast episode. I am really excited to talk today about life lessons. This kind of goes along with the whole solo journey, self-love, health and wellness, you name it. I like to talk a lot about just, loving yourself, doing the things that you've always wanted to do, and how you can do those things and the confidence that you can develop. So, part of one of the many series besides the dating, besides the travel stuff, is going to be life lessons with Victoria. So today's life lesson is just do it. So before we get into the episode, let's start off with the most important question, of course, which is, you all right? For me, I'm feeling good. I'm a little overwhelmed with my to-do list of personal and work ventures, but there's nothing I can't accomplish. Additionally, I've actually been very happy with my current weight loss journey. Today, I can say I've lost like 13 pounds, which is like a little under 6 weeks. So about a month and a half, I've lost 13 pounds. So I'm very proud of that. It took a lot of hard work. I'm still not at my final goal, which would be my original size, or at least my favorite size I've ever been, fittest size. But I'm at the point where you really start to see the results and you start to see the changes and you start to fit into the clothes that you weren't able to do before. And it's motivating. There was, I started this journey, of course, about a year ago. But realistically, I didn't start working on it full time until December. And if you guys follow me on YouTube or you've heard me in person talk about these things, I didn't really start working on it until December. And at that point, I still gained another 5 pounds while I was working on it every day. I realized over the time kind of why I wasn't getting in shape or what was missing from the whole regimen that I've been doing. And so, about a month and a half ago, I really made it a point to take every day seriously in regards to getting into my best shape ever. And I set goals for myself that I'm literally achieving. Within 2 months, I should hit my goal of losing 20 pounds. That would be 10 pounds a month. That's something to be proud of. And that's, again, going to be more part of the health and wellness episodes of kind of how I did it, what I did, and everything. But I don't want to get to that point, or I don't want to talk about that until I get to my final end result, so I can kind of gather all my information and my knowledge and my experience and really kind of narrow down of what works and what doesn't work. But the confidence that you build along in that journey is phenomenal. And what kind of confidence I'm talking about today is more about putting words into actions and just doing things. So I have to say, overall, I can't complain. There's really nothing going on that's terrible in my life. This has been just something that has been super motivating and a way to pass the time, as COVID never seems to end, does it? But now I'm fully vaccinated, so that's great. But this really ties in today's episode of Just Do It. I'm a go-getter. I'm a goal setter. Okay, this is not meant to be a rap, but once I set my mind on something, I go for it, and I want others to do the same. So to start off this episode, why don't we just say thank you to Nike? Oh gosh. The British American confusion is coming into play already. Americans, we say Nike. British people, you say Nike. I completely understand where you're coming from. I want to say Nike, but I'm used to saying Nike. But I think I'm going to say Nike. I don't know. Okay, but thank you no. I'm going to have to say Nike. I'm an American. Let's not lie here. It's going to be hard to roll the tongue just saying Nike. Flat out Nike. Thank you to Nike for creating such an amazing slogan. It has inspired me for anything I wish to achieve in life. Honestly, whoever came up with it, you deserve a lot of money. When people say, goals or tasks are, seem too lofty or daunting, I always think back to that slogan. And please don't tell all my previous email hackers that I used to have it as a password for myself to create kind of like a manifestation. For whenever I had to log into somewhere, I would make it my password, just do it with some numbers and some symbols. So that way I was always constantly reminding myself just to do it, no matter what it was. So don't worry, I've changed them all now, all my passwords. So that is no longer my password to anything. Don't even try. And what does just do it mean to me? It means to grow some balls. To stop complaining, to stop making excuses, to stop wishing for things and start doing. Because you won't know until you try. Want to start a podcast? Just do it. Want to start running? Just do it. Want to lose 20 pounds? Just do it. Want to make the first move? Just do it. There's really nothing too mysterious about the saying. All the details are literally in the slogan. Don't overthink, just do. Overthinking is a killer of some amazing goals. My mind and my thoughts are so much more clear and quiet now that I've cut out all the noise. I stopped romanticizing things and I started either doing something or not doing it. I didn't leave myself just hanging. There have been so many opportunities that I've created by just doing it. For example, walking onto a major film set and asking for a job. Now, I don't know if I've talked about this previously. Again, I'll talk to a wall. So I don't think I've talked about it on my podcast, but I have talked about it on my socials. But basically, when I went to school in New York City, so this would be my undergrad, I went to film school in New York City at the School of Visual Arts. I studied cinematography and directing. And I didn't even really see the point of school. I just wanted to start being in the industry. Good for a lot of film students is they're always filming in New York. So film sets are literally in your backyard. So one day I was walking by a film set and I think it was like a really big movie. I don't remember the exact actor. I think his name is like Clive Owen or something like that. He starred in a movie with Julia Roberts. He was really big, like maybe early millennia. But anyways, I wanted a job and I wanted one right then and there. I didn't know anyone who worked on that film set, but I just walked right on and went up to whoever I saw with like a walkie-talkie and I asked to speak with the key PA, and that stands for key production assistant, because those are the people who are usually in charge of hiring the PAs, which are the production assistants, which are kind of like the starter position for any film set. I mean, there are interns and stuff like that. I mean, same thing, one's paid, one's not paid. And from there, they were really impressed. I don't remember the exact person or anything like that, but they put me in contact with them. I talked to the person. I said, hey, I go to this school. I'm looking for work as part-time as a student. If you have anything, I'd love to, help you guys out. And they needed help. So then from there, I was hired to work on big TV shows and big film sets just by simply doing it and not being worried about what other people would think, how dumb I would look, how embarrassing it would be, because literally no one cared. If anything, they really liked the balls and the outgoing nature that I had, and it shows hustle, it shows drive, and it shows motivation and wanting and desire of something. And other things that I've done when I've stopped overthinking and started doing, as I mentioned in the last episode, was travel the world alone. Again, I talked about in the last episode how important traveling alone was, but it's also important to make the decision to travel alone. You can talk about it all day, but if you don't do it, it's never going to happen. You'll never get those experiences. So a big step and a big part of it that you should pat yourself on the back when it comes to doing these things is really just making the decision to do something and the action of doing it. Other things that I've done when I've stopped overthinking and just did what I wanted, or, didn't wait for a result to come to me, is talk to the hot guy at the bar. Oh my God. Let me tell you, and this is, I guess, my bragging rights, because I feel like my friends would back me up on this. I am so good at this. Whether or not I am the hottest girl in the room, and believe me, let's be honest, I'm not. My confidence really says, or at least my buzzed self in that moment says I am. There's something in me, maybe it's the wine, that gets me thinking, well, of course he wants me. Why wouldn't he? I used to sit around and wait for them to come up to you. Guess what? For the most part, they don't. There's a lot of, for the majority of it, guys are shy, guys are dumb. They won't know that you're interested. They're really not paying attention. So sometimes you have to let them know. Now, I don't do this every single time I have people come up to me, but the best results I've ever gotten with the people who I thought or I was most attracted to, I went up to, and I ended up either, going on a couple dates with them, or, just having fun, or a long-term, not super long-term, but, more than nothing with them, because I didn't sit around the bar waiting for someone to come up to me, and I take action, and that's usually what gets me what I want. And I remember this guy that I was dating for some reason told me, I don't know why, first of all, he must have not known me very well, is that I'm a lot of talk but no action. And I turned to him and I was like, what? I gave him solid evidence of everything I've done and everything I've said I've wanted to do. That guy clearly was insecure, because the whole just do it if you want to do it attitude is like my life motto. Clearly things didn't work out for me and him, and thank God they didn't. But this attitude is something that I've taken with me into all aspects of my life. If I sat there all day and weighed the pros and the cons of every decision, I would be stuck in a position of what ifs. And the people who are entrepreneurs and managers and bosses and celebrities, they didn't get their positions, well, the majority of them, by just sitting there. They probably asked for what they wanted. That is something that will never hurt you. You will never have to guess what if. Now, I don't know if I have any exact tips for developing this just do it mindset. Unfortunately, I think at the end of the day, it really is just do it. Make a list of things you want to do and then start. If you don't start, you'll never get there. So I think it's the hardest part is getting over that hurdle of starting, right? I've had a lot of things that I've wanted to do in my life that I have pushed off for a decade. Silly things like start a YouTube channel. I just started probably 6-7 months ago. And yeah, 6 months ago. And I really regret not doing it years and years ago because, well, for me, the whole YouTube thing is about, documenting my life, but also documenting like my travels and realizing of how many places I've traveled in the past 10 years that I don't have these amazing video clips from is really pissing me off. Or these cool London Fashion Week experiences or meeting and working with cool people. I just don't have any, made like long-term videos or of, because I would love to see like my experience that I had in London, just not just over photos but also in video as well. So there goes something that I learned, which was, I wanted to do this YouTube thing 10 years ago and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed it off. And finally I just did it and now I love it. Same with this podcast situation. I always knew that I thought a podcast would be a good idea because A, I love to talk, but B, I feel like I have a lot of things, a lot of experiences that I've gone through that could be helpful to someone out there or that could be interesting to share. I mean, I have some crazy stories. Now, I'm not going to share those crazy stories until I get some, some serious listenership here because some of them are just too much for me to be putting out on the internet without anyone knowing, with me still having a job. You know what I mean? But yeah, so at the end of the day, almost everything that I've done has come from this attitude of just do it, because I've seen people in my life be the worst decision makers in the world. My mother, she doesn't know how to pick a restaurant. She doesn't know how to pick somewhere to go on vacation. Or if she does pick somewhere to go on vacation, she's too afraid to book the flight. And I can't, I think maybe that's been motivating for me in my life where, I've seen so much of someone wasting so much time or being nervous or questioning their decisions, where I've kind of took the opposite of approach. And no, not every decision that you make is going to be good, but I think it's better to be making decisions than just sitting there and ruminating over an idea before you get too into your head and you have no idea which way is up. And as I mentioned earlier, I used to be that way. I used to be such an overthinker, especially in high school and my mid-20s. The amount of thoughts that were going on in my brain at the same time were actually wild. And my twin sister, I've talked to her about this before recently because she's definitely feels like she kind of has that brain or that mindset still where she's got 20 other things going on inside of her head, where I think I've over time really quieted down those thoughts and cleared the noise. And it makes everything so much more easier for me to just make decisions, to think clearly, to not be so hesitant, to not be over romantic about things that are unhealthy in my life. I just kind of see things for what they are, and I do things for what I think they are. I don't know if that makes sense. Just do it is kind of very similar to the phrase YOLO. You only live once. Very millennia of me. But it's true. It's you only live once. So make that call. Go up to that guy. Book that plane ticket. Run that mile. The world is your oyster. And once you start seeing that, life really changes. It's very much a mindset sort of situation. But the Nike, I feel so weird saying Nike slogan has been something that I have lived by for many, many years and been inspired by, whether I was at the stage of being as ballsy and as bold as I am now. I definitely wanted to get there at some point, and I've finally gotten there, which is great. Yeah. I mean, just think yourself, sit down, take a seat, just listen to me, close your eyes, and think back to all the times where you made that last minute decision, or you finally did that one thing you always wanted to do. And how good you felt after. Oh my God, right? It's such a sigh of relief. That's what you always want. You don't want to be continually questioning everything or continually worried some. How good was it when you made that decision to go ahead and book that ticket? Or how good was that? When you decided to go and finally send that text to your crush. How good was it when you were upfront and honest with your boss on how you feel and how you wanted a pay raise? And did you get it? Maybe, Think about how good it feels to finally be making those decisions that you want in your life. Because I think that one of the main reasons why I started this podcast is that I had some friends in their younger 20s, younger, mid, anywhere in the 20s, young, old, mid 20s. And a lot of them, I could just see so much hesitation in all of them and insecurity on what they wanted to do, who they wanted to be, who they wanted to be with. And for me, as someone who's now in their lovely 30s, I feel like with the age has come the easier decision-making process and the lack of insecurity. Because in my 20s, I was very insecure as well. And I waited on a lot of things when I should have just done it, You miss out on the things that you don't do. So, I've heard a lot of them say like, well, I want to ask for that raise, but what if I don't get it? Okay, so just do it. Oh my God. Or like, I really think that guy's hot over there, but he's not even looking my way. All right, babe, do you want me to walk you over to the table? Listen, it doesn't even need to be that blunt, especially with the whole dating thing. You can make it a lot slyer, and believe me, I can talk about my tips in regards to that. But I'd sometimes have to go up to a guy for my friend and make it subtle, and then be like, oh, and this is my friend, and introduce them, and then quietly disappear off into the audience, where the audience in the background, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh my God, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, I just did, There wasn't too many thoughts going around. It was just a decision-making process. And sure, not every decision is going to come out with the perfect outcome, but I'd rather not ask what if. I've also had friends who didn't say how they felt and didn't express it to someone that they were interested in. And I'd be like, what's the point? Why are you wasting both of your time if you're not going to be honest with them? So basically, I wanted to talk about this whole just do it thing for those girls that I know in their 20s who are just continually ruminating over ideas and situations and people and things they want to do in their life, and the hesitancy. Oh, it drives me wild. And maybe I'm a little blunt. No, I know I'm a little blunt. It's my new favorite quality of myself. But I think I just know the constant conversations I have with them is me being their cheerleader, telling them, encouraging them that they can actually do something. And everyone, I think, needs to develop that little cheerleader for themselves as well. And not every day is perfect for me. I'm not my most perfect cheerleader. Some days I'm like, I don't want to do it, or I don't think I can. But how I've gotten to do all the things that I really love, I've had to just grow some balls and do it, I've had people say, oh, I always wanted to make a YouTube channel and I never did it. For you, well, you can do it too. There is nothing different between me and you. You can absolutely do it. And the same, I've had people say, oh, I've always wanted to start a podcast. And I was like, and I remember when someone said this to me, that they wanted to start a podcast. And I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to start a podcast too. And I was like, so what am I waiting for? Nothing. And then I was like, oh, and that's literally the day I decided I was going to do it. And then I set myself these crazy goals of immediately getting them done so that I could stay on top of it and not be a procrastinator. So here I am after work recording this in between my workouts and work and editing and all those things. But again, I did do it. And I think you should too. And I want everyone to feel that confidence to do the things in their life that they've always wanted to do, and to use this slogan to really motivate them. If you need to write it down on a sheet of paper, or maybe you need to change it to one of your passwords, or you don't need to put a little post-it note above your bed or something like that, do it. I mean, I think it probably helped me out a lot, changing into my password for many, many years. Obviously it wasn't just do it, so don't even try to log into any of my accounts, but it was something along those lines where every time I log in, I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta go get X, Y, and Z done. And it really helped. It really pushed me. So it's sort of like a manifestation technique, I would definitely say, for sure. Now that I think of it, the whole Just Do It slogan and why it's so appropriate and great for athletes is trying to motivate them to be the best in their, field. You know what I mean? Like, running or soccer or swimming, all that stuff. Just if you want to be the best, you got to be the best. You want to, be the best, you have to train every day. You've got to do all the workouts. You got to be the last one out of the gym. You got to be at all the practices. If you, let's say for me, I know years ago I wanted to run and I wanted to be at a certain mile time. Well, every day I had to be out there running and looking at my time and watching it progress. And for me now, as I said earlier, the whole weight loss thing is a month and a half ago, I decided enough is enough. I cannot be at this weight anymore. It's making me unhappy. I don't fit into any of my clothes. It's affecting currently everything. And whatever I'm doing is not working now. So I need to do it now and make the change. That's when I decided to start tracking all of the food I was intaking, tracking all of my workouts. And literally within a couple of days, I started seeing instant results. And I was like, oh, I think I was being a little too generous with what I was saying I was doing in my head since, for the months I was gaining weight. I was like, yeah, I ate good today, did I? No, I was eating massive portions, to be honest. So now that I'm back to my, almost back to my original size, I realize the difference of what I was eating then to what I am eating now. But anyway, that's sort of like, you can have a goal is one thing, but to take it into action is another. And that's kind of why I like the phrase, just do it, because there's no excuses, ifs and or buts. Okay, you want to do it? You actually have to go out there and do it now. No backing out. So I can see why the slogan does really well for athletes. And it's been very motivating for me. I've been trying out a new workout where, I don't know how you say it. It's if you look it up on TikTok, it's a viral TikTok dance that people do. And I did one YouTube video about it. It's actually done the best so far on YouTube for me about trying it out, see if it works. And you can do it at certain increments. So I started off in the low end at 10 minutes. And now this week I've decided I'm doing 30 minutes a day. And to be honest, I don't really want to be doing it 30 minutes a day. There's other workouts I'd rather be doing, but I've set myself up for, if I want to be successful in the YouTube field and this video is doing well, I've got to do the next video, which is trying this now 30 minutes a day. That's what I'm doing. I don't know. You just have to do it. I don't know what to say, guys. Like, honestly, like this kind of sort of advice is kind of where I must be an annoying friend or older sister in the sense of my bluntness and my realness is like, there's no fluffiness to the advice that I want to give. Everything's really straightforward and real. There's no magic to it all. It's just the honesty of it. It's just doing it. It's just the action. I don't know what to say. I could talk to you in circles about all of the experiences that I've had that, I decided to actually go ahead and do something and the result that came from it. But at the end and I could tell you, you need to do this to get into your mindset and that. But realistically, it's just you need to stop thinking about it and just do it. That's it. I can't tell you anything more than that. But I hope that's somewhat motivating to you to know that, you can do it. When I hear people say, well, I want to, but it's just excuses. And once you start doing things and achieving things that you've wanted to do, the more you're going to want to do more. It's definitely a snowball effect for sure. And it will boost your confidence. Absolutely. And it'll boost your self-worth knowing that you are capable of doing things and knowing that you do have some guts in you for sure. Because honestly, like the people that I talk to in my life, especially the ones who are younger than me, I just want to give you all a hug because it's like, I know I've been there, I've done that. I know all the stresses that you go through, and I'm sorry that you don't have someone else in your life telling you of how capable you are of doing anything you want, because you really are. My kids are going to be nuts and will be like, you can do whatever you want, you're going to be the best at it. So right now, it's because I don't have any kids, I'm telling my younger friends, like, if you want to do a podcast too, I know you can do it. Or if you want to be an Instagrammer, go ahead, go take those photos. Or heck, if you want to go live abroad too, yes, go do it. Just book the ticket. That's all you need. If you need me to be your cheerleader, feel free to call me. I'll be your cheerleader. But, I think this is just my personality is I see so much potential in so many people, get to hear so many excuses. And if these people just believed in themselves a little bit more, power that they would have, oh my God. So yeah, I want you to go out there, whatever it is, whatever you're thinking of today, and just do it. What am I going to do? It's 97 degrees outside. That's too hot. I'm going to go bike for 30 minutes and then I'm going to do that little viral TikTok workout for another 30 minutes. Listen, I don't want to do either of them, but I want to be in my best shape in the next 2 weeks. I'd like to be at my goal. In order for me to do that, I got to just start or keep on doing what I've been doing. I don't have any time for excuses. So anyways, I feel like these shorter segments compared to a normal podcast are better for me just because it's one person here. And again, as I've said before, my advice, so to say, is very blunt, so I don't have too much fluff to feed you. But either way, life lesson of the day, life lessons with Victoria is just to do it. Know your self-worth, know what you're capable of, and do it. No excuses at all. So Nike, whichever one you like to be called. If you want to sponsor me, go right ahead. I love their athletic gear. Really great. I think that's the majority of what I wear anyways, but we're not there yet. Maybe one day. You never know. See? One day. We just have to do it. We have to keep making these in order to do it. So everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your day. This will be put out later tonight, so I hope you're listening to as you're winding down for bed and need some motivation, or maybe tomorrow when you wake up and you're having your cup of coffee, you would take a listen. And maybe this is something that will put a little pep in your step and that will maybe get you to go through your checklist a little bit more. Something that maybe you can start adding some goals to your calendar and starting from there. Start with the little things, and that way that really feeds into making you feel better once you start checking those things off that you wanted to get done, and then you can move into the larger goals or tasks that you had in mind. So start small. So today, let's say, okay, it's nighttime, you want to start winding down at 9 p.m. Go ahead, put your phone down, lay down, listen to this, and go to bed. Or, okay, let's say it's tomorrow morning. You're listening to this and you are starting off, you're looking through your work emails and going through your to-do list. Maybe write a personal to-do list, not just even a work to-do list, and do one thing on that list before noon, right? You're going to want to do more throughout the day because it just feels so good. That serotonin of doing things. I don't know about you, but I definitely have it. I don't know if am I classifying myself as a type A personality? I'm not really sure. But I know that you are capable of doing everything you want to do. If you don't have anyone in your corner, I am that person. So go ahead, get started, trust the process, and just check something off your list today. Start with one thing. Let me know what the thing is at the handle the You All Right podcast, and then comment on whatever recent photo it is and tell me what you did, or send me a message, whatever you want. I love you guys. You've been really great to me thus far. I really appreciated the feedback from surprisingly more people than I expected, and it's been good to know that people are listening, and I always want feedback. This is the start of something, and yeah, so feel free to let me know what you think or what you'd like to hear next as we kind of figure out our niche, or if we figure out kind of how the rest of our episodes are going to go. I will have guest speakers on. I'm excited. I'm going to put this out there already, so I make sure it happens. My friend Lexi, well, hopefully, or I have other friends too that want to join, but we might start talking about in the next couple episodes is why you should live abroad once. And also I have friends who are interested in the dating topics, and we can talk about red flags and cheating and our own experiences. I have some really good friends who can talk very deeply about those things that I'd like to have on as well. Because again, with any of these topics, I am not an expert. This is all my opinion. This is just something that if I had a younger sibling or a younger friend, or just a friend in general, I would be telling them these things. So now that I've told my friends these things a million times, I got to tell you. I got no one else to tell. I don't have any children yet. All right. Hope you guys have a good one. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials at the You All Right podcast, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Anchor FM, all of them, because obviously it really helps us grow, gain more views, and go from there. All right, bye guys.